So with the grant, I was able to buy many different books that we're going to use to do silent reading. When they do independent reading, they can look at authentic text to pull out grammar. So like if we're doing a grammar or something like preterite verbs, they can actually see how the verb works in actual text. But then also the innovative part of it is taking that text and then turning it into theater. And so I just use the text that's in the book, but then I put like parts, roles to it as it would be in like a traditional play, and then they perform it. And so the benefit of that is that they have multiple readings. They have to practice pronunciation while they're reinforcing vocabulary and verb tense. It's difficult to come up with different ways to hold their interest. and I think that this is definitely a way. I can do like an informal assessment of how they, their speaking ability, their pronunciation, by listening to how they read the script.
The grant is for our cooking classes. We at LTMS have a building goal to increase student engagement and a sense of belonging in the students. So we try to find activities that students will be interested in to participate in after school to feel more connected. In the process of that, we discovered that there was a need to find your way around the kitchen, basically. We had been sending home groceries with students on long weekends, breaks from school, Christmas, spring break, holidays, similar to the Back Snack program that Harvesters does at the elementary level. We were doing that on our own with the support of the DeSoto Food Pantry. And through that, we learned that if some of the food we sent home required any preparation, they didn't know how to do it, or how to use the oven, or how to do some basic cooking that we might take for granted. We referred to it as LTMS Fresh, basically. Our computer classes created similar to a HelloFresh card with recipes and directions. And so when the students come, their groceries are all set out in a kitchen in the VAX room, and they have their LTMS Fresh card with all their ingredients and all their instructions, just like you would if you bought a meal plan at home and you were making that. When they would leave the class, we sent them home with a bag of groceries with the recipe that we had just made. So similar, again, to a HelloFresh box, but we sent them home with an LTMS box and all of the ingredients to replicate that meal at home for their family. So the thought was, by doing it after school, we can, again, reach students who may not be involved in any student activities otherwise, but also fill a need and teach them to support their family. And by doing that, we're supporting our community.
So with the grant money, we purchased Kiva planks, which are a great resource for STEM. And I have tons of ideas about how to use them. The first one is just mainly for free building and getting to be creative and use their imaginations, but also weaving it into technology. So when we do our coding unit, they'll make mazes to code robots through using the Kiva planks. When we do our stop motion unit, they'll use the Kiva planks to make a stop motion video. But there's also tons of curriculum connections, so they can use them in math as manipulatives. They can use them to make a setting from a story that they read. They can, build a pyramid if they're learning about that in social studies. So all kinds of things I'll be able to share with the other teachers in my building. So this one, I think the cool thing about them is that there are so many different uses for it. K-5, I had fourth graders who are early finishers the other day building a mansion together out of them, and then the kindergartners love them too because they, it's easy for them to hold, and also, it is nice for kids who aren't as well, not as good at communicating. Like, they can play with them too with the kids and work together to build a tower. So that's been really nice too, to see those kids kind of get to play right along with them. So that's been really nice.